Hi guys, so I'm sure like me you have tons of these lying around. Yeah, the good old sprues left over from the Warhammer kits after we've painted all those lovely miniatures. Well, about 3-4 years ago I used to make a lot of things out of sprues, including this ugly little chap. Yeah, the great unclean one, which is made entirely from sprues and obviously good old ooey gooey spruey stuff. I also made an orc stomper. Again, this was made from made from panels that I made from the ooey gooey spruey stuff. There'll be links all over the place, guys. Yeah, go check out all these old videos. I say these are, well, at least 3 to 4 years old. And one of the biggest things I made, and that was this towel manta, which took me, well, forever, and obviously a ton of sprues. In fact, more sprues than I had, so you lovely people sent me in boxes. And when I say boxes, I had huge big boxes full of sprues, and yeah, I made this rather large chap. But the best thing I think I ever made, not that it went down very well, was a sprue burger. Yeah, you heard me right, it's this. A rather large, oversized sprue burger made, well, entirely from sprues. And a lot of fun making it, still makes me laugh just thinking about this thing. But yeah, making videos with sprues, but then it all stopped because I kind of got hooked on, well, 3D printing. Yeah, this kind of turned my world upside down in regards to, well, making things, painting things. The fact that I could now, well, print out exactly what I wanted and then paint it was just awesome. So yeah, I kind of stepped away from sprues and obviously done a lot more with printing. Well, recently, yeah, I've been painting up lots of my, well, pile of opportunity, which means I have a ton of these again. So rather than throw them away, I am going to turn them into things. And in today's video, I'm going to make or show you 5 different kind of bases you can make using these. So one of the first things I always do when I get these kind of sprues, obviously all the miniatures are off. Any bits left over I put into like a little spare box. But yeah, with these, I like to cut out the center bit first, as this obviously gives me the outer rim, which has some nice, well, straightish areas. Obviously they do have a lot of nibbly knobbly bits on, so we will have to sort of cut them off. The center bits, yeah, I use them from other bits as well. Sometimes they do have some nice straight bits and I keep them. But yeah, it's the outside rim that I always go for first because, well, this definitely has a lot of straight edges. So yeah, what I do, chop the corners off. But everything I do with the sprues, I keep. I have sort of got bits boxes with sprue bits. So sprue bit boxes. If that makes any sense, I don't know. So yeah, cut off all the corners. Because the plan is to keep all these long center bits, or straight bits even. As they are, well, they're useful for sort of all kinds of stuff. Whether you're just making frames to make other bits and pieces, or to make, well, bases like you're going to see in this video. So as you just heard me say, yeah, there's a lot of nibbly knobbly bits, so these all have to come off, as we want these bits nice and straight and clean. But say all these bits, yeah, we keep them as well. I'll show you what I do with them in a bit later. Yeah, obviously a nice little circle bit as well. I do like them because, well, they're great for all kinds of things. I've used a lot of these for rivets, so yeah, always worth keeping them. Again, they'll go into a little bits box. So as you can see, yeah, it's still not quite as smooth as I'd like it. So just using the blade, yeah, we'll just scrape down. The good thing with this plastic is it is nice and soft, so this is relatively easy to do. Takes a bit of time, obviously. But yeah, guys, I do get some weird comments when people say, yeah, you spend a lot of time doing that, is it really worth it? This is a hobby. Yeah, so if I spend 5 minutes doing something or 5 hours doing something, it doesn't really matter because this is a hobby that gets me away from real life issues, takes me into my own wibbly wobbly world where I love it. So yeah, so a lot of things I do, you might be thinking, well, that's a lot of time and effort for not a lot of result. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, this is all about having fun, trying new things, and as I say, just get away from real world issues. Yeah. So bases, well, you know I use clear bases, so I have a ton of the Warhammer sort of bases, and yeah, that's why I thought I'd show you sort of 5 quick and easy ways to do some basing using the good old sprue rather than, well, throwing it in the bin or leaving it in the cupboard. So as I say, this stuff cuts nice and easy, so I've got one of these scalpels with a nice big flat edge, and all I'm doing is cutting it into, well, small little, well, I would say cubes, but they're not quite cubes. So one of the first bases I'm going to show you, a real simple, easy one, and it's kind of like a cobblestone base. So this can be easily used for obviously Warhammer miniatures as well as D&D Hero Quest kind of stuff. So using a good old cement glue, this is obviously the best glue to use for this because it does mean you've got time to, well, maneuver things around. And this stuff really does obviously glue really well because it kind of part dissolves the plastic, especially when you're obviously merging one bit to the other. Dissolving one bit into another bit definitely gives a good contact. So yeah, a little bit fiddly this, but it is a case of making a line of them. And then, well, repeating that process over and over again. So quite fiddly, but an easy result to get a cobblestone looking floor. Whether you're going to do it for like bases like this, or, well, a bigger, larger terrain piece, or scattered terrain. That's one of the things that I've used sprues for quite a lot. I say a good 3-4 years ago, making tons of scattered terrain, quickly, easily, and I would say relatively cheaply, because say you're using, well, sprues that you've got left over, and the chances are if you built up a Warhammer 40k army, you're going to have a ton of sprues. Even with kill teams, I've got a lot of sprues. So yeah, I found it as easier just picking these things up with my blade. It's been a while since I've made things. So I'm going to quickly go through the 5 things, but you're going to see them in their full glory at the end. Because obviously I like to leave them to dry before doing anything else with them. So for the next one, yeah, I've got 2 sprues and I'm just going to squish them together. Again, the good old cement glue really does bond these really well. You do have to leave it obviously to dry, so it takes a good sort of 10-15 minutes. And then the plan here is to scrape down and make them into, well, having a pointy end on them. And so this is where it really is good that this stuff, this plastic, really is nice and soft. And it is easy to cut, which is pretty cool because it does mean then you can make, well, a whole variety of things. And then cutting the bottom at a bit of an angle, so you don't want it sort of square on, you want it sort of at an angle. So you'll see in a minute when I come to glue it down to a base, it is sort of, well, going off at a weird angle. Again, some of the things you've seen here, I have kind of done a few of these in the past, but say as I am kind of getting back into making things with sprues, I'm keeping it nice and simple to begin with, just to, well, remind me what to do and how to do things. So especially with the old sprue goo, I used to be able to make panels out of that. I used to make them reasonably flat. Using a good old rolling pin, you can get sprue panels, well, whatever thickness you want. Because I had a rolling pin that had adjustable edges, so you could get things like 2mm thick, 3mm thick, and so on. But say for this one, yeah, these are just little sort of spiky bits coming up. And yeah, these bases are all different, so they'll definitely work for whatever sort of miniatures you've got. This is a little SprueCon guy I'm making. The video for that was going to come out, but I'm waiting on a part. So a little teaser there. You shouldn't really have seen that because, well, there's him and a few others I've made, and they should be out soon. So yeah, these are the little boxes that I like to keep the bits in. I say it is great having so many options of what to make with sprues. They really are cool. So this video, I'm not doing any sprue goo. These are just the sprues as they are being cut up. Because I know some people don't like to mess about with the acetone, which obviously dissolves sprues to make ooey gooey spruey stuff. With the ooey gooey stuff, you really can then make, well, pretty much everything. Say as just briefly saw at the beginning of the video, I've made a variety of things. So the sprue burger, it still cracks me up every time I think about it and look at it. I even made some chips to go with it. I still do need to make a sort of milkshake sort of carton to sort of finish off the trio. So again, another nice simple easy base there with the round circles. Again, stick around to the end, guys, and you'll see these all, well, in their glory. And the next base, well, I've got all these little shavings and bits and pieces obviously left off, and I think these kind of work well as, well, bits of metal, or obviously they will when they're painted. Like most things, until things are painted, they just look like bits of plastic. But that's the joy of painting. You can make things that are plastic look like metal or wood or, well, whatever it is you want them to look like. So yeah, very simple base this one, using leftover shavings and cut off ends. I say I don't throw anything away, everything kind of gets used. All the other little bits I don't use on this base, yeah, stick around to the end and you'll see exactly what I do with them. So another one, yeah, so this is why I made or cut so many of these sprues into nice long planks, because then once you've got them, it is nice and easy to just use them in whichever way you want. So one of the main things I've used with these is to make frames. You can really make nice boxes, frames and all kinds of stuff that you can then cover to make, well, other sort of terrain for Warhammer, which is pretty cool. So in this one, I'm not going to put them laying flat like I did with the first one. So these ones aren't going to be a sort of like cobblestone floor. No, these are little bricks. Yeah, again, this video, everything in it, nice, simple, quick, fast. But when you see these painted, which obviously you will at the end, yeah, it definitely transforms these leftover bits of plastic into very usable items. Definitely something I would use for bases. That being said, obviously, as you know, yeah, I prefer clear bases because I like to see the terrain that's underneath my miniatures. But some miniatures that I don't actually play with, I just paint, well, for the fun of it. Yeah, I do put them on bases. And there we go. So here are the 5 very simple looking bases that, yeah, your miniatures can go on. Or you could use these as just, say, scatter terrain, or use them on bigger bases and make objective markers with them. The choice is yours. So the leftover bits, yeah, they're going to go in this jar of acetone and be turned into ooey gooey spruey stuff, which I can then use to make, well, other bits and pieces. So some questions I do get asked about the goo. How long will it stay in this jar? I think when I was making lots of videos, the longest I had some goo that I didn't use was about 6 months. So yeah, it lasts a long time. So my dry brush textured palette, yeah, that was recently made out of sprues. But say it's because I've got so many sprues left over, and I don't like throwing things away. So I am going to be making use of all these sprues and making, well, a whole variety of things. So say nice simple bases in this one. I'm going to do some scatter terrain in another video coming up. And I say I have briefly mentioned my Spruecron army. Something I've been wanting to make for ages, and I've finally got around to doing it. Although saying that, I haven't made the full army. I've just made a few pieces, but then I can obviously just duplicate them to make more and more and more. So yeah, keep an eye out for that video, guys, because these guys look really good. It's a lot of fun making something so small. Yeah, making a miniature sort of figure out of sprues at 32mm height. A little bit tricky, but fun. So simple painting with all of these. Yeah, did a good old Premium Black, dry brush white. So these ones, these are the old like Necron. Again, this is where my memory is pants, guys. Although the good thing is my memory has always been pants. So I hope it's not getting worse, but I don't know. Anyway, waffling on. So with these, yeah, start off painting them all a dark green. Then do a light green up to about sort of 60% of the height of these, and then once that's all dried, then going around and doing an even lighter green, just on the lower sort of 20% of this. Obviously, I'm trying to feather each one in, so I put the green on, then kind of wet the brush, just to sort of drag and even out the paint. This is where, yeah, me and feathering paints, I'm not very good at that. That's kind of why I love speed paints, because they do all the hard work. And I don't have to. But yeah, trying to feather it out as much as, well, as humanly possible. And then I'll just paint the base, well, a bit of a brownish colour there. Again, obviously, you guys, these are just ideas of what sort of do. I'm sure you guys will be able to take all this and, well, improve it tenfold. And then just sort of tie everything in, yeah, using a good old wash. I do like using washes as well, because obviously these are, well, very much like speed paints and help make things look a whole lot better. Just give it a bit more contrast, a bit more shading and all the rest of it. So yeah, putting that all over. One thing you will notice though, whenever I do use kind of washes, yeah, I'm a little bit heavy-handed. I like to chuck on loads, as I like things to look really sort of, well, weathered, distressed, and just downright kind of dirty. So that's dried, and then the last thing to do on these little, again, I forgot what they're called. They're crystals. Oh, I can't remember. Yeah, this is where I'm trying to do a thin line, but as you can see, yeah, my thin lines are a little bit chunky. I was trying to use the side of the brush sometimes. Obviously, I'm using the tip there. But yeah, trying to use the side of the brush to try and get some thin lines. So this is a very light green, and as you can see, yeah, my thin lines. The more I try to do a thin line, the thicker the thin line gets. But these look really good from a distance. Squint your eyes and yeah, it looks like a real thin line. So I'm sure you guys will do a much better job of this last little bit. But yeah, these little crystals, I think they're kind of like from the Necron sort of bases. Again, I don't really know much about the Warhammer 40k lore. I just know I love the miniatures, and yeah, obviously I love painting them. So this one, I have made something similar with this, where I've made these into a gold pile of coins or something similar. But say they do work really well as a kind of a base. And this is what I love about the Warhammer 40k sort of world, because there's such a variety of, well, miniatures and creatures and all the rest of it from all over the galaxy. Yeah, you can make up some weird and wonderful looking bases as they fit in with, well, the whole sort of space theme. But say nice and simple, nice and quick, definitely using up those sprues. And then a bit of dry brushing, again, just to make it look a little bit sort of weathered, a little bit used, like it's been scuffed and all the rest of it. But nice and simple, nice and quick. And yeah, say love the results from these, say, 5 very different looking bases. And then this one, yeah, the metal one. Again, doing a variety of colours here, obviously, to make it indicate and look like metal. But obviously, you can spend more time doing whatever you want to do with these. But say them little shavings, I think, do work well as well. Little bits of leftover sort of metal, which is pretty cool. By all means, guys, let me know in the comments what you've turned your sprues into, or what you do with your sprues. As I say, I am looking for more ideas of what I can do. So if you've done something and I've not done it before, then yeah, I'd love to have a crack at, well, doing something new. As yeah, these are definitely a good resource that I think most of us do sort of just leave lying around, whether they're still in the boxes or even worse, put in a bin. Yeah, this is definitely a great way of reusing. Yeah, the good old long forgotten sprue. And obviously you paid for this sprue when you bought the miniature. Yeah, I think half the price you spend kind of goes on, well, the rest of the sprue, so it definitely makes sense using it. So yeah, simply gone round painting well, 3 different sort of colours to the metal look, and then get ready for a ton of wash to be used. Yeah, so as mentioned, I almost need a bigger brush for this, because yeah, I like to get a load on. But say for me, the great thing is with the washes, they really do get in the nooks and crannies. You get a lot darker looking areas there. They kind of even pool sometimes on the flat areas, because, well, I kind of use so much, they're going to pool everywhere. But yeah, love it. It really does make things look, yeah, nice and old and distressed. And I say for this metal look, yeah, really pleased with how that came out. So the good old cobblestones, yeah, I kind of like using this this sort of off greeny kind of stuff. This is Green Stuff World, so yeah, I use a variety of Army Painter speed paints as well as Green Stuff World different inks, because, well, I love the look of and use of both of them. And again, keeping it very simple here, so you guys can take more time doing whatever you want with the bases. But for me, yeah, I just slap this stuff on. Again, this is like a wash, so yeah, I really do put a lot on. But yeah, love how it looks. Once it's dried, it's pretty cool, and then just needs, well, a bit of the old dry brushing again, just to give it that sort of worn look. And yeah, love it. So say, yeah, I do like making the scatter terrain as well, as definitely a good thing or good use of the sprues, whether you're making almost kind of like buildings or just lots of little areas like this. Say these walls, yeah, these are pretty cool, because you could make obviously a whole range of scatter terrain with these kind of bricks as well. They do look like kind of bricks, which is pretty cool. And obviously you can paint them, well, whatever colour you like. So I've gone for like a kind of reddy brown as well. Yeah, I like the look of this. Like each to their own and all that. And then again, like everything else I've been doing, once that's all dried, then going around giving it a good old bit of dry brushing, just to give it that extra little sort of worn look, using the good old, yeah, the textured dry brush palette that I recently made from, well, sprues, because why not? And if you see one of my really old videos, I've even made a Citadel paint pot holder out of sprues, just so, well, you never knock it over. And the last thing to do on this base, yeah, let's give it a little bit of grass, just to really help sort of sell the look of, well, a broken down brick wall out there in a field somewhere. So there we go, guys, 5 different looking bases, easily made from, well, good old leftover sprues. And yeah, say nice little variety. So whatever army you paint with, or play with even, I'm sure one of these sort of bases could possibly work well for your miniatures. I say nice, simple, quick, easy, and repurposing something that we would normally throw away or leave in a box just to, well, gather dust. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, leave the likes, leave comments, all that good stuff. Let me know what you want to see me make in the future, as yeah, I am going to be using some of the sprues to make, well, more and more things with. Okay guys, you'll take care, and there's another video coming up on the screen. Give that a click, see more of what I do. And yet there are playlists of, well, a whole variety of sprue videos. I say, I went mad. There's loads of sprue videos out there, guys. Give them a click, and yeah, if you can, share the videos. That would be fantastic. Okay, well done for making it to the end. You deserve something. I'm not sure what, but yeah. Okay, you guys take care. Next video on the screen now. See you guys later. Bye.